Our dark feminine energy is where our deepest power and our passion truly resides from. So, when we can learn to tap into this power, that's when we truly can see our lives start to shift and attract anything that we desire. Hi, my name is Lynn, and I'm here to help guide people to step into their divine feminine energy to embody their own power and manifest the lives of their dreams. So, if that's something that you're interested in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give the video a like, and stick around. So, for this particular topic, I've created 42 journal prompts on how to embody your dark feminine energy. You guys can get that in the link down below. It's available on Etsy. And this will really help you to do the shadow work required to free up your dark feminine energy in the most healthy and empowering way. And I've also created a tarot reading on my Patreon, which is available for subscription or a one time purchase on your dark feminine energy as it is today. So, how are you already affecting people in your dark feminine energy? And this can be extremely helpful for those of you who also want to know how far along are you already stepping into your dark feminine energy. So, what is light feminine energy versus dark feminine energy? How do these two archetypes of the divine feminine energy differ? Well, light feminine energy, for example, think about kind of Disney princess, Ariana Grande, Sabrina Carpenter. It is aesthetically and energetically the side of feminine that is nurturing, kind, compassionate, unifying, soft, forgiving, emotional. The dark feminine, instead of the Disney princess, maybe a bit of the villain, the dark feminine energy. Some celebrities that perfectly describe this aesthetic as well as this energy might be like Alexa Demi, for example, Audrey Plaza. Dark feminine energy is independent, assertive, passionate, seductive. It's fearless, it's powerful, it's transformative, it's magnetic, it's fierce, it's more rebellious, it's a more detached energy. Another example of dark versus light feminine energy, if you guys have ever seen the show New Girl, which I absolutely love, in New Girl, you have Jess, who is the main character. She embodies quite beautifully the light feminine. She's very compassionate, kind of open with her emotions, wants to unify everyone and everything, compassionate. And then you have Cece, her best friend, who embodies more of a dark feminine energy. And she is outwardly very seductive, but also a little bit more detached. She doesn't give that kindness to just everyone, a little bit more kept to herself as well. And in one of the episodes, Cece was called a nice girl. And she
Am I
goes,
nice? No.
do you
Thank you.
think I'm a nice girl? I'm not a nice girl. And it is quite funny when talking about dark feminine energy because dark feminine energy is less concerned about, being nice, being compassionate, and it is a little bit more concerned for herself, what's best for her, and not necessarily about what everyone else thinks of her. So, overall, the dark feminine energy is the less traditional, more fiery essence of the divine feminine energy. So, it's often that the dark feminine energy is also a little less um, traditionally accepted or societally accepted what women should behave like, right? Because there's often still a little bit of this, a female, a feminine energy. And again, it's an energy, so it's not um, bound to gender. Anyone could have access to their divine feminine energy. But yes, a feminine energy is often still seen as, you should be sweet, compassionate, loving. The dark divine feminine energy is in its essence a little bit more of the masculine energy of the divine feminine. So it's not actual masculine energy. It operates different than masculine energy, but it is the little bit more fiery masculine component. So dark femininity may deal with assertivity, like I said, but also our relationship to anger. And often those emotions are considered to be more masculine and therefore not to be considered feminine, but they are. There is definitely a feminine way of expressing these things. The number one thing to do to step into your dark feminine energy and to fully embody this super powerful essence within yourself is to be okay with pissing people off. In your dark feminine energy, you're not necessarily always going to be liked, or you're not necessarily always going to be getting sweet, loving responses to your energy, because dark feminine energy is in its essence a lot more rebellious. It does exactly as she feels empowered by, she does as she feels intuitively is right for her, no matter the responses it might get from others. So, dark feminine energy, when you really step into that, it's goodbye to people pleasing. It is an energy of, I'm gonna do what I need to do, how I wanna do it, when I wanna do it, unapologetically. In your dark feminine energy, you learn to be okay with being disliked by people and not necessarily widely accepted by everyone. Think about it. Very powerful women or people that exude an energy of, I'm gonna do what I wanna do, and don't necessarily go and say, thank you, I'm sorry to every little thing people say, because they know they don't have to. They're not always going to be the most liked. Some people may see that energy as, you know, selfish, or you shouldn't act like that because a woman shouldn't do that or a person shouldn't do that. And in your dark feminine energy, you're going to have to learn to be okay with that. So, naturally, when you are at a point in your life that you're really okay with being disliked by others, with also wearing what it is that you like. The dark feminine energy is often seen as very confident and seductive as well, because she may dress according to what she likes, according to what she feels powerful in within her body. And that brings another layer of, a very powerful energy, a very powerful force, someone who chooses what they like, what they feel like, over the responses it may elicit from other people. So that leads us to the second important step to take to fully tap into your dark divine feminine energy. So, dark divine feminine energy requires us to do some shadow work. It requires us to work through the emotions that we felt ashamed for, to work through the emotions that took our power away from us, or the experiences that took our power away from us, so that we can give it back to ourselves. So, this is by sitting with these feelings and emotions. And like I said, you can do that with me through the journal prompts, and owning, reclaiming, re owning your power in these emotions. So, for example, a major dark feminine energy emotion is being assertive. And often, through our experiences as women or as men, um, we can be shamed for being assertive because we're told we're too emotional, or we're told, you know, we should lighten up and smile a little bit more, right? And within our dark femininity, we reclaim that we as women were always meant to be assertive. But again, this may look different from masculine assertiveness, like a feminine assertiveness. Maybe to remain calm within ourselves, but very direct, to be able to say no when we don't want to do something. So, another, again, like boundaries, being incredibly aware of the power that our words and our energy holds. So when we say yes to something, are we saying it because we feel like we have to, or because we don't want to be a bother to people? Or are we saying yes because we want to? And the same thing with no. We're allowed to say no, right? And saying no is such a powerful thing, yet something people struggle with. And I think especially women struggle with, right? Um, so learning to set your boundaries, say no, and assert yourself in a calm but direct way. And another thing I feel like is been helping me because personally, um, I'm a Libra rising, I'm a Cancer sun. I am someone who has always had this demeanor of a more my light feminine. Like, I'm going to be kind to people, and often to my own detriment because I wanted to be polite. That was a big thing for me. Like, I want to be polite when someone asks me something and I might not want to do it, or I might not want to engage with them. I felt like I had to because I needed to be polite. And that's really how I was raised, very traditionally as well. So that often led me to situations that I felt like, okay, why am I in this? Like, I don't really want to talk to you, and here I am. Because I was always told to be polite, regardless. Be polite, be polite. And it often just got me into situations that, again, I didn't want to be in. It got me in situations where people would say something, and I was like, I don't think you're supposed to say that. But I would just shrug it off because I felt like that was the way to go about it, right? And as I'm learning too, to step into that dark feminine energy when I need it. It's just by saying, I don't want to have a conversation with you. Another thing was so deeply ingrained in me. When I did something, I didn't do anything wrong. I would always be like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I've been learning to not do that anymore. To say I'm sorry when I mean it. So I reclaim the power of the words I'm sorry. And to say nothing when words are not needed. When the boundary is set, when it's done, you don't need to go and apologize for it. The relationship as well to our anger with the female rage component of the dark feminine energy, it's about allowing yourself to be angry as well, because I personally felt so disconnected from my anger for so long because I just repressed that, because I was never shown healthy anger in my household. So I was just like, when someone pissed me off, I would just be detached. I would just be like, okay, and walk away. And female anger is about allowing yourself to feel angry. It's not about necessarily popping off on a person, but it's about allowing it and voicing it, like directness, and showing people, no, that's not going to fly by me. Another massive component of dark feminine energy and the emotions that we might have often felt ashamed for is our sexuality and our sensuality and our power as women. So, feminine energy is extremely powerful. It really is where we birth things into our existence, is where we literally bring life. What's more powerful than bringing life? Dark feminine energy, again, it kind of deals with these components that we as women have been shamed for or told to express differently or whatever it may be. How many times throughout our lives have we not encountered people telling us, like, either you're too prudish or you shouldn't dress like that, or if someone comes on to you, you need to be kinder and more receptive, or you shouldn't be this or you shouldn't be that. So, dark feminine energy is, in my belief, sacred sexuality. It is about realizing the power that pleasure and sensuality holds. Is when we give that away to people. So, when we use our sensual energy for anything, we give our energy away freely, and our energy is our most prized possession. It's the most valuable thing we own, especially as women, and we get to choose where it goes. So something a dark feminine energy does is embody her sexuality in the ways that she feels empowered by. So that can be in her way of dressing, it can be in the relationship with herself or the relationship with someone who makes her also feel empowered. But something that you wouldn't necessarily see from dark feminine energy is putting your energy towards a bunch of people, putting your energy where little attention, little appreciation is given in return. You don't see that. So, dark feminine energy, it is about really knowing your worth and knowing that your energy is so freaking powerful that you're not giving it away. It is mainly for you and for the things that make you feel good. So, it's your relationship to pleasure. What makes you feel pleasure in life? And it doesn't just have to be intimate pleasure. Another massive thing to embody that is to work through your intimacy wounds. And again, in the journal prompts, I created a section as well that can allow you to work through your intimacy wounds. So, is there any shame around pleasure, shame around intimacy, shame around sensuality? Because working through these can really help you step into the dark feminine side of you that owns your power, that owns your sensuality, that doesn't want to give it away, but that wants to love it and embrace it and have it for yourself. And you also really realize you don't owe anyone anything in this energy. It is where chaos meets birth. It's by saying, I am these things that I've been ashamed for. I am this. If that means I'm seen as chaos, I'm seen as this, I'm seen as that, let it be, because I'm going to create everything from this energy I've ever wanted by choosing myself first. So, lastly, another super important component of owning your dark feminine energy is that it cannot exist alone. You cannot always be in your dark feminine energy. You're meant to be in your feminine energy by embracing both your light and your dark feminine energy. And do this, I almost feel like it's an intuitive dance of which we need at which times, right? Some situations may call for us to be nurturing and loving as feminine energies, and unifying and soft and more forgiving. So just being in your dark feminine energy all the time would repel. It needs balance. But often, certain situations may call for us to be in that dark feminine energy, when we don't want to give our power away to something. We're like, okay, we're going to shift to our energy of being able to be more kept to ourselves, more assertive. So it's about learning the intuitive dance, and your intuition catches up as well, because I've seen that the more I am in my feminine energy, the more my energy also tells me what I need. So I may go to a social interaction, and sometimes I catch myself being like super kind and flowing with people, unifying. And then other times I'm in certain environments and I'm scanning and I'm like, no, I need to be kept to myself right now. I need to be a bit more in my dark feminine energy, a balance, practicing to have a healthy relationship with both your light feminine and your dark feminine energy. So that's some of the tips that I want to give to you guys today on how to be in your dark feminine energy. If you guys want, you can work through this through the journal prompts that I've made. And I've also made a tarot reading on this topic of how people see your dark feminine energy, and it's available on my Patreon. So if you want to get messages on what you're doing well and in your dark feminine energy already, come join the Patreon, or you can get the one reading exclusively as well. So I'm sending you guys so much love, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.